Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Ron and I are very happy to have a special guest, Ron.
Coach Mack.
Introduce our guest.
Coach Mack.
Coach Mack.
Which I know you mentioned to me not to mention it too much, but we haven't officially mentioned it on this show that you're going to be a Hall of Famer. So that's the only time we'll mention it. So, yeah.
When's that coming up, Dave?
The induction, the formal induction is going to be March 19th, I believe.
You'll be joining quite a few basketball coaches.
Quite a few, yes.
Yes.
Good coaches and a lot of good players. And there's a lot of good coaches and a lot of good players that should be there that are not.
Yes. Well, time will tell.
Well, feel very fortunate.
How far did they go back, Dave? You have any idea now?
What's that?
How far did they go back to get their nominees?
Oh, well, there's a packet of nominees for females, and then there's a big, thick packet of the males.
Oh.
And then there's another packet of deceased that are still on the list for possibly getting in. So I think if you're on it so long and you don't get voted in,
Yes.
you just kind of go off into the sunset. So I feel pretty fortunate. I've seen the packet of the boys, well, and the girls, women's. You look at it, you're going. I see some of the names. I can't believe that they're not.
Right.
You know, I mean, who would have thought that Bryce Drew is just now getting in,
Really?
or
Wow.
Troy
Wow.
Lewis is just now getting
Yes.
in?
Well, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
was it last year, year before? James Blackman just got in.
Yeah, Troy
You know, I
Lewis,
mean,
if I remember right, Troy Lewis, wasn't he the one that took the last second shot against Connorsville? Or maybe I'm mistaken who that was, but I know that name sounded familiar. Who was he?
he played for Anderson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Anderson.
took the last
Then he
yeah.
went to Purdue.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
You think about that. Now, do you get to vote? How is it? I mean, because I know in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, some of the Hall of Fame's people that's in the Hall of Fame get to vote.
I can't answer that.
I guess you'll
I
find
don't.
out.
I don't know. I don't know who all is involved in the voting. There's a board of directors through the Hall of Fame in Newcastle, and those directors vote. And so, you know, you can get nominated, but then they gotta.
Yeah.
That's quite an event at Newcastle, isn't it, what they have as far as Indiana basketball is concerned?
Well, they just did a big renovation. I forget how
did
much
they?
more money.
Wow.
Several $1 million. They just did a renovation of the place, but it's really neat. You know, you
Yes.
go in there and some of it's interactive now. You know, you go around, you can see photos and artifacts of Indiana high school basketball. There's one segment I haven't been in it since it opened, but you know, there's
Yes.
one segment where John Wooden talks to you.
Oh, wow.
You can shoot against Larry Bird. You know, there's some neat things where you can interact. So there's something for kids to do, and so they just the new build-on part is just opened up, I think.
When is the Indiana Hall of Fame ceremony?
The induction ceremony.
And it's at Indianapolis?
It's on the south side of Indianapolis. Yeah. Usually it's at Primo Steakhouse on the
That's
south
nice.
side of Indy. It's March 19th.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
The Spartans are 2-2 on the season. Tell us about CHS at 500 right now.
Well, I think we're better than we were. I think they're more comfortable with me and what we're trying to accomplish. And obviously, we got off to a good start against Union County.
Yes.
Place was packed like it always is on the first game. And you know, I thought we showed a few nerves in that game. You know, we had some layups. We got all the way to the rim and missed some layups.
First game of the season, though, Dave.
Yeah.
Well,
You have to
that's
expect that, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And we missed a few free throws, and you know, we win by 10. It could have been a little bit more of a gap, but I thought we played hard. I thought we moved the ball well, and it was a good win. Then we came back. That was on Wednesday. Then everybody got to sit around for a day and eat turkey and ham, and then we came back on Saturday and went up to Delta for the first road trip. And
Yes.
That's a good team.
Well, they're good. They were a shot
Yeah.
away from going to the state finals
Yeah,
last year.
right.
They got beat. Matter
Yes.
of fact, they had a play at the end of the game last year, an inbounds play, and the kid they hit him underneath. He bobbled it just a tad, and went up and missed it. That would have sent him to the state finals, and missed it. And so South Bend St. Joe went. So now some of those kids graduated, but they still have some good kids back, and. We had too many miscues. We looked a little tight going on the road, and so, we did some good things, but we're not quite there yet.
Yes, takes time.
And then we came back Friday, going over to Rushville, and that was a hard-fought game. You knew it would be.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of emotions involved with Kerry over there.
Sure.
And he does a great job, and so, we battled, we started out something like 8-2 or 10-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they came back, and it was a 2-point game, and it was, I believe, our lead, but then they took the lead, I think, maybe at the end of the quarter. Then they got up 7
Yeah.
with 3 or 4 minutes to go, and, you're hoping we can knock down a couple shots.
Kept the fans on the edge of their seats, didn't it?
Yeah, I tell you that when you talk about that 7-point lead, I thought for a moment there, I thought that was a dagger, because they had all that momentum. But and we talked about this before we went on the air, and then Clint and I talked about it. Not one time did we see our boys ever think, "Oh, this game's over." We may have thought it, but they didn't think it, and that is what the difference. And that's why Xander came out, boom. And that deflated them.
Yeah, it was. Well, there's no reason. I mean, there was 3 or 4 minutes to go.
Right.
I mean, you're talking 3 possessions
Right,
at the most, and you got
Yes.
3 or 4 minutes to do it. So there's no reason to panic.
Yeah.
We came down. All of a sudden, we moved the ball. Find, Z. He knocks one down, and we came back and hits back to back, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game, and the crowd's
Yes.
into it. And I think we came back, and then Hunter hit a 3.
Yeah.
We went up, and I thought we had a couple. Our defense did a great job down the stretch, and our kids rebounded well down the stretch.
Yeah.
Here are some of the highlights from the Lions and Spartans game in Rushville. Coach, what are we seeing?
Well, this is the starting lineup here. So here we are early in the game. Hunter with a 3.
Seemed like that boy always hits the first 3 of the ball game. Yeah.
That's fine with me. Here's a
Yeah,
nice
right,
kick out.
yeah.
It's a good start.
Reese has a good shot. I like his shot.
Maddox, a really nice
Yeah.
pass by St. Bentley.
Oh,
That was at the end of the quarter,
Yeah.
and partially blocked shot. And Zane's very heady there, grabbed that and laid that ball in at the buzzer. Here's a little Johnny on the spot by Griff Wilson. Pass got through.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys at the right place at the right time a few times.
There's a nice play, a little pick and roll from Hunter to Judd Garrett. Quick hands by Hunter.
How many steals he had? Tons of steals Friday night. He had.
I think I had him for 6.
That's what I thought. I knew he had over 5. It was unbelievable.
Nice little jumper there. Jaden hits Judd for a nice jumper at the lane, and you see it's a close game. Xander gets in the lane. I like it when we attack that middle.
Yeah, I like
That's
that shot.
the end of the quarter, man. That's a deep 3 by
Yeah.
JP, man. Jaden
Yeah,
nailed that. We needed every bit of that, obviously.
Yeah, we blew the mics out on that shot. That was awesome.
Nice move by Mitchell Steele. Fed the post well, went inside, got a big bucket. Here's where we're down 7. There's 3 by Xander. Here's
Nice
an
possession.
beautiful extra pass by Hunter to Xander. He nails it back to back. So those were huge. Nobody picks up Hunter. He comes down, pulls up for a 3. We go on a nice little run there, puts us up 2. Then we go into overtime. Inbounds play, nice cut
Yeah,
by
that was
Maddox.
beautiful.
Jaden hits him on a cut to the basket. Great job here. There's, It's funny how it was 1.9 seconds when they stopped the clock, and all of a sudden they put 2.5.
Yeah, I know.
back on
Yeah,
the clock.
I didn't understand. We couldn't hear what they were talking about, but it thought it looked like it was way too much time on that clock that they put back on.
Sure seemed like it.
Yeah.
I know.
it was
I
way
got home.
too
My
much.
wife goes, "How can they change that from 1.9 to 2.5?"
Right. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
"Because we're on the road."
That's true. Yeah.
A lot happens in sports in a few seconds.
Well, yeah, and that play at the end, they throw it half court,
Yes.
and Mitch comes out of
Yeah.
nowhere just to deflect the pass, so they don't even get a shot attempt off. So
Yeah.
that's a big play in a game like that.
Xander went down with, which that scared us when he went down with his ankle injury,
Ankle.
I think. Yeah, but taped him up. He's back out there.
Yeah, he told me later. He goes, "You're just going to laugh at me." He goes, "Because I just turned and rolled my." He said, nobody was around me. I saw it on tape, and he just turned and just it looked like he just kind of gave up.
We didn't see it because it was right where the angle that we were at, where he was away from the ball. We didn't see it, and all of a sudden we're like, please let that be a cramp.
Yeah.
As we were, please let it be a cramp. And
Looked like something I'd do, but
me too. Me too.
but he bounced back, and
Yeah.
and he played Saturday night for us.
Yeah,
so.
he did. Yeah. Which that was a game. He only had one shot, and it was a 75-footer at like one of that. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that one. Yeah.
Rough night.
Yeah, it was a rough night.
Shelbyville game was a different game with the kids down a little bit after their victory with Rushville, because I know so much was emphasized with Rushville the night before. So does that have an effect in your opinion?
Well, I think it does. You can't ever make excuses. You go
Sure.
out and play, and it was our first double weekend, so we haven't played Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
We came in Saturday morning, went through a walkthrough, and got some shots up around 11 o'clock. Then we took off and drive down there, and they didn't play on Friday night.
Right.
And is that I don't know. We weren't very sharp.
Sure.
We needed to be at both ends of the court. We needed to take care of the basketball, which we did not do. We needed to knock down some shots, which we did not do, and we needed to guard better. And they just hurt us in all those phases. And they're a nice team. They're well coached. They're a good team. They got some nice players. 23. Claxton kid is a nice player. He's scoring about 17, 18 a game.
Yes.
But he does so many things that makes the other guys better.
Yeah.
And, we told me, so if they got a 2 in their jersey, they're going to shoot a 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Well,
him and Reed.
2, 22, 20, 23.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they all shot, and shot it well.
They sure did.
Their big guy had a 2, but it wasn't the first one. It was 32.
Right. Yeah.
So he wasn't shooting outside, but a big physical kid. And then a bad matchup for us is number 1. I mean, he got in a little foul trouble, and that helped us early.
Yeah.
In the first quarter, it was 15-13. We had ball time running out, and really it wasn't. We started slow, but then we hit a couple shots, and it's 15-13, and we're right there.
Yeah, I think we were down 10-2 or something like that. 10-2, 12-4
Yes.
at one point, and we just stormed back, and I thought, this is going to be a good game. And then it just seemed like I was surprised at how tall they were, but how fast they were as well. Or at least they seemed from where we were at how fast they were.
Well, they moved pretty well.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah. And we came back. I felt good about it because we had been down.
Yes.
We came back and tied it up, and then they went up, and like I said, it was 15-13. Our ball, time ran out. We had a miscue right at the end of the quarter, and they ended up going down and scoring.
Yeah.
So instead of it being 15-15 or 15-13, it's 17-13, which was kind of big. Then the first couple minutes of the second quarter wasn't bad, and then the wheels started to fall off. Sometimes when the wheels start to go, it's pretty helpless.
That's true. That's true.
Because you're trying to grab hold of the rope, but it's covered with oil, man. You can't get a bite on it, and that's.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain that sometimes, but it happens, and that's the way it felt, man. We were falling. There's nothing to grab a hold of.
Yeah. I've often said this, Coach, and I don't know how you feel as a coach. It may be different as a coach, but I've often said as a competitor, sometimes I'd rather get blown out than to lose that close game. How do you feel?
Oh boy. That's a tough one. That's happened before in the tournament, and You know, if you get blown out and it's in your last game,
Yeah.
there's no
Right, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah. It's like, well, they were just a better team.
But when you
It was that heartbreaker.
when you got a 1-point lead at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and we get a steal at 3/4 court, and you look at the clock, and the clock says 11 seconds, and you come down and you hope the kid dribbles the ball out. And he looked like he thought he was open, and I mean, he looked like he could lay it in, but then when you got Devontae Smith-Rivera play at Georgetown, blocking that off the backboard, and they rebounded at half court, it's like an oh crap moment,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And so, not that I ever think about that.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, it sounds like that's experience.
You know,
talking.
so when you have
Yeah.
when you have a close game like, I mean, we were, Bloomington South had lost, and they were favorites to win the state. If we dribble the clock out, if we win that game, we played Jeffersonville instead of Bloomington South. North Central blew them out, and then came back and played Warsaw in the championship game. We had beaten Warsaw at Mackey Arena at Christmas. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. So so the games like that,
Yeah.
you kind of have a tendency to remember.
Yeah.
a
Oh,
little
you
bit.
remember those? The blowout ones, like, hey, we just got beat.
They just, you know.
they were just better. Yeah. Yeah.
Here are some of the highlights from the Shelbyville and Spartan ball game.
A couple nice arenas we played in.
Yeah. Yeah. And we travel so well. Yeah.
Judd.
Yeah. His inside game started to develop very nicely.
That's nice. He came back with his right hand. He's a lefty. That was a
Yeah,
nice
right,
play.
yeah.
Here's a nice, great job by Jaden. Xander finds him, a great body control to hit that step back. There's Maddox, nice quick release.
Yeah.
Good ball reversal, find the open guy. Maddox knocks one down. Here's Jaden knocking one down. It's 12-10.
Yeah.
13-10. Now it's tied at 13. That's a nice run for us.
Sure is.
Now we're in the second quarter. Great take by Hunter. It's still, now we're 24-18, halfway through the quarter. And then look at the score.
Yeah, they go on that big 13-0 run.
Yeah, they go on that run, and that kind of nailed the door there. But we kept plugging away, but they gapped us, and it was just too much to overcome. But we're still making some nice plays. We just didn't make enough of them.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, the boys. What the highlights don't show is that these boys played that ball game all 8 minutes each quarter as if they were up. They never played like they were behind. That's impressive to me. That's very impressive.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, they never hung their heads.
No,
They just
not at
battled.
all. Not at all.
They just battled.
Yeah. Yeah.
This week, Coach, you're going to meet who?
We're playing Winchester Saturday afternoon at the Bowl.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, we were having a hard time finding a game. And so we got a hold of Winchester, and our girls are playing Saturday night. So we talked about playing an afternoon game, so we get a game in. It wouldn't interfere with the girls because they were already scheduled. If we wouldn't have got this game, we were trying to find one for Friday night and couldn't find one. If we didn't find a game, we'd go 2 weeks without playing. This is the type of year, you want to keep playing and get in a routine. And so we have this week to prepare for Winchester. So they're coming in. JV game starts at 1 o'clock Saturday.
And 2:30 should be the varsity start, probably in that area.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. What kind of a team is Winchester?
They're scrappy. They've got a couple kids with a little bit of length. One kid, he looks pretty physical. Seems like he kind of likes staying outside, which kind of surprised me, which is okay with me. Right. But they're scrappy, kind of like we are. We played them this summer. I think we played them over at Centerville, maybe in a league game, and had a close game. And I think maybe we beat them, and then we played them again. They came in at the end of the summer Winchester and Shenandoah came into the bowl, and we played JV varsity in June, and I think they got us then. So, and we missed a couple guys. So we'll see. They'll be competitive.
Expecting a good game, good tough game.
Yeah, and I'm expecting us to bounce back.
Yes.
We need to decide which way we're going to go. If we're going to step it up, or and I feel very confident that we'll do that.
On our highlights, we show a lot of scoring, but putting a 10-inch diameter basketball into an 18-inch goal is a little bit tough, isn't it?
It can be.
It looks easy, but try it, huh?
Well, then try it when there's somebody in your face, and then try it when there's somebody in your face and there's 3,000 or 4,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
That's the difference too.
Yeah.
And I can't explain this either. I remember this as a player, and I wasn't very good, but I still remember having nights where the basket seemed like it was this big.
Oh, yeah.
And then there were nights when it seemed like it was this big.
That was like it for me.
Yeah, and how do you explain that? And I've had players that, they could flat out fill it. And I told the kids the other day, I coached Mr. Basketball, and Coverdale's playing for me, and he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And he was going through a slump, and of course he never said much about it. He just kept playing, but he was really good about getting to the free throw line. He was good about attacking, getting into the lane, doing those types of things. But man, he couldn't buy a three to save his life. And it seemed like it was about a 10-game stretch, and it was probably 2 games, 3 games.
Yeah.
But I do remember we were at home. He was on the left wing, and he buried a 3, and the place went nuts. And that was it.
Yeah.
Then everything was fine. But for a couple games, he couldn't. He didn't hit some shots, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." So he'll be fine. And as soon as he hit that one, boom, it was over.
Coach, what's a typical practice like, and how long does it continue?
Well, right now they want you to talk to me as long as you can, because as soon as I leave here, I'm going to practice, so they don't want me around. But we normally go a couple hours.
Okay.
But ours, it's everything's set up. We made when they come out, they do a little regiment where they do tips and ball handling and shooting, and then we'll do 5 minutes of this and 5 minutes of this and 10 minutes of this. Then we may do some defensive drills, then we come back and we'll run a little bit, shoot free throws, and we come back and shoot, and we'll do some, we may do some offense.
Okay.
Run a little bit, shoot some free throws, come back, some team defense, play that, compete a little bit, keep score. If we compete, winners run first and losers run more. So everybody gets to run.
Yeah, right, yeah. Just, you don't want to be a loser.
Winner goes first, they don't run as much, and losers go second, they run a little bit more. So, so it's kind of all regimented what we do, and it moves pretty quick. And we try to cover shooting, ball handling, offense, defense, and we're going to tweak a couple things on offense and put in a new out-of-bounds play, things like that. So,
who's helping you, Coach?
the same. We got the same staff that we had a year ago helping me at the varsity is Charles Peterson and Mike Hawkins. Chris Bloom and Tim Billups are running the junior varsity, and then Jeff Cooley and Dylan Graham have the freshmen. Which the JV they had a great weekend. Yeah. They've been playing well. They're getting after it defensively. They play hard. They move the ball. They started out kind of like our game against Shelbyville. And they were down early.
Yeah, and then
they just took off.
Yeah.
Yep, and they end up winning handily.
Yes.
And they got Union and Rushville handily.
What about? I didn't know the Delta score with JV.
They did not play well at Delta.
Yeah.
I think we all had turkey hangover that day.
Yeah.
But and the freshmen, if they're 2 or 3-0, they got Shelbyville. They went down. I think they got Lawrenceburg, and I want to think they got another one too. I think they're 3-0. They're playing Newcastle tomorrow night.
Bright.
Yeah, the kids are playing hard. Yeah. Coaches do a good job with them.
Yeah, one thing that it seems like that's not just us, but the other teams that we're playing suffering this too. The free throw shooting is that's probably the weakest link that we have on our team. But it's not just us. Union County was suffering. I didn't see the Delta game, but Rushville was struggling there towards the end. And really, surprisingly, our free throw is what got us that 3-point cushion. But our free throw shooting has just not been that good this year.
No.
And it seems like it's across other teams as well, except Shelbyville. They seem like they couldn't miss anything. How do you correct that?
Well, I think a lot of shooting is mental.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think there are a lot of shooting is confidence and it's mental and it's, I told kids visualization and you got to visualize the ball swishing through the basket and, we practice them and put them, say we're shooting, you're shooting, even though in a game we don't shoot one-on-ones anymore, but in practice we'll go one-on-one. If you miss the first one, you got to run sprint full court. If you hit one, miss one, you got to go half court.
Right, yeah.
And run. So, you try to put them in a little bit of pressure situations to do it, but I think so much of it's mental. If you have the basic form and technique down, then you should be able to step up to the line and shoot 70% or more.
I say this all the time. I had a coach, one of my favorite basketball coaches. I wasn't really that good either, but I had a basketball coach tell me, I don't really care what your percentage is overall when you shoot a free throw, as long as when you're at the stripe, you're 100%. So if I was shooting 2, I better make them both. But he didn't care. So I was like, that was pressure all the time. In other words, never miss.
Yeah.
Never miss. You should never have an opportunity.
Well, and I think I don't think we've shown how good of shooters we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've shown, we've hit some big shots already, like we talked about, but those kids have put some time in, and I think we're a little bit better shooters. I think Xander, Hunter, Jaden, Maddox, Griff, Wilson. Those guys shoot the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
Logan Young. They shoot the ball well. I think just as they get more comfortable in the season, they'll just keep getting better and better.
Dave, what's coming up during the holidays as far as the Spartans playing?
We're actually going to a tournament.
Okay.
Up in Lafayette Harrison.
Oh.
So we're going up. The varsity is going up on the 27th, and we're going to play Hobart, and we're going to play South Bend, Washington, and we're going to play 2 games that day. We're going to stay the night. On the next day, I think Saturday the 28th, the JV is going to come up, and they're going to play a game at 11 and 12:30 back to back. So they'll get 2 games there, and then we'll play our 3rd game like at 5 o'clock against Harrison on Saturday. So we'll travel up there and we'll get 3 games in 2 days. The JV will get 2 games in 1 day.
You like that to keep sharp, don't you?
Yeah, the kids don't. Who wants to practice?
Yeah.
You want to go play games. So, and it's if you take a break, man, it's coming back from the break, it's tough getting your conditioning, even taking 3 days off.
Yeah.
You come back and you feel it.
Who are some of the other teams in the tourney?
Well, it's obviously the host,
Sure.
Lafayette Harrison, but Hobart out of the region.
Okay.
The Hobart Brickies, they're in it. I don't know much about Hobart. And South Bend, Washington, they're supposed to have one of the best juniors in the state. I can't tell you a name, but I guess he's supposed to be one of the top-ranked players in the state, so it'll be kind of fun.
There are some new teams in the sectional. We're getting into a new sectional this year. And as a coach, would you rather play or not play a team that you play during the regular season when sectional time comes?
I've done it both ways.
Okay.
And just like we played Delta and they beat us. We see them again. I feel pretty good about that, to be honest with you.
And you'll play Delta in the sectional,
They're
possibly.
in the sectional, yeah. Delta, Yorktown, Newcastle, Hamilton Heights, us, Jay County, I think. So we're going the northern route at Newcastle. But to answer your question, we've lost early in the season before to Carmel and come back and beat them in the sectional. Zionsville got us twice during the season. 1 year we got them in the sectional. even before that. Knox,
Okay. Well, some
Knox got
coaches-
us up north. And North Judson, they thumped us twice during the season, and we got them in the sectional championship games. So, you know,
We're out of time, gosh. Everybody, thanks for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report.